Welcome back to our week of talking about busyness and Sabbath. We've talked about how we need to reduce busyness in our lives, and in fact, being too busy is sinful. And so we want to talk about how to reduce busyness in our lives. So I gathered today a panel of three people. We have Justin and Shauna, who are married, and they have 7 kids. And we have Mercedes, who is single, and she works multiple jobs with special needs, and in fact is a leader in our Cornerstone Singles Ministry. So I wanted to gather them and ask them some questions tonight. So let me start out with this question. What criteria do you use to determine what you will say yes to and what you will say no to in your lives?
Well, for me, essentially when I'm saying yes to something, I need to be aware of the fact that I'm also saying no to something else. And so I ask myself, what is it that I'm saying no to? Is it something that's going to sanctify me for God's glory? Mm-hmm. Or is it something that's going to add stress to my life? Do I even have the time to add something into my schedule at the moment? And also, who or what will I be affecting by saying yes or no?
Okay, good. You guys?
Yeah, one of the, I think for us, a big thing is because we have 7 kids and because we're busy with a lot of things, kind of like the idea of multitasking, but is it going to be something that adds to a relationship? My relationship with Christ, my relationship with my wife, with my kids, or with people around me.
Which is one of the things we talked about earlier in the week, is we need white space to build those relationships. So that's exactly what you're saying.
So yeah, we basically, that's kind of one of the criteria that we use is that building in that space? Is that building in opportunity to, strengthen those relationships?
Sure.
So
sure.
And we talk about it a lot because we can get off doing our own thing. And so we have to talk about it a lot. What are we doing this week? And then why are we doing that again? And just reprioritizing over and over again, because I feel like it's easy to get off of that and then to remember, wait, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
And do we need to now go back and say no to that,
Sure.
sport that we may have signed up for or something like that?
Yep.
Mercedes, you made a comment about one of the factors that you use in determining what to say yes and no to is, does this cause stress?
Right.
Okay, we all have things we have to do in life that are stressful.
Right.
So how do you, I guess, minimize those stressful things, or whenever you have to do something that is stressful, how do you handle that? How do you manage that?
Well, I think that's a great point. Things such as work or family, those kind of obligations that we have in our lives can naturally cause stress. Those are things that I think are necessary to prioritize. What I meant by trying to decipher if I'm going to add stress is if it's unnecessary stress, if I'm going to be taking on helping someone out, am I going to be going completely out of my way, that I'm not going to be able to do it with a joyful heart. I'm not going to be doing it out of love, but I'm going to be doing it begrudgingly or expecting something in return. So yeah, just kind of checking myself, making sure that this is something that if I'm willing to sacrifice my sleep or my free time or maybe even a leisure activity, is it something that I'm still willing to do with a grateful heart?
Sure, good answer.
I think that's a good point.
Another question. Earlier in the week in one of the sessions that we did, I mentioned a statistic that we heard that the average person in the 21st century needs to know how to handle 20,000 devices, which is just mind-blowing when you think about it. So my question for you is, how can we reduce the number of things that demand our time and our energy, whether it's one of those 20,000 devices or whether it's activities that we're involved in? How could we reduce the busyness in our lives?
So with 7 kids plus a nephew that lives with us and my wife and I, that would make, 200,000 devices we need to.
We've got a screen.
So we do. It seems like we have screens everywhere. And one thing that we've done is we always have good ideas on how we're going to handle those screens. We're going to only do it at this time, and then you find yourself or your kids or whatever. Well, we make an exception or whatever, and so we end up not sticking to that, and so it pretty soon gets out of hand really quick. And so one thing that we've kind of fairly recently implemented was we need something to actually help us physically. So I built kind of a little makeshift thing in our hallway, mounted it to the wall, It's got slots for each one of the kids' multiple devices.
Yep.
Have a little mounting strip there. They can plug in their chargers and it can charge there. And then down below it, Shauna made up a whole list of times and rules and what that looks like when it's they're available and when they can't be. And so if any time outside those hours, if it's not in there, we can walk by and we can real easily at a glance see that it's not there, and we can know that, hey, wait a minute. So that's helped us just
And
to
we've
help
actually
manage
had
those.
2 kids come up to us and thank us for that,
Wow.
which was surprising because it was kind of like, hey, we needed to
Right.
Yeah.
get control of this type of thing, so we didn't think it would, bless them.
So
But
they
2 of them-
appreciated
Yeah, 2 of
the-
them said thank you because it is addictive. It is very addictive
Yeah,
to
yeah.
create those habits with our devices. They are interesting. There is something always to look at. And so to help our kids to say, no, by 9 o'clock, throw it in there. You can read a book, something else. Yeah, it was pretty sweet because it was very genuine for them to say thanks.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's awesome. I mean, even as an adult, I know that I appreciate boundaries.
Yeah.
And working with children, I know that children appreciate boundaries. And so for myself, I mean, I don't have a cool device like that, which would probably be very useful in my home.
He'll build you one.
But I actually will set timers for myself. If I know that I need to do a load of laundry, I mean, my philosophy is that washing it is necessary, drying it is optional, but folding it is just completely absurd. And so throwing it on my bed is only going to last until I need to go to bed. And so I'll create a timer for myself, whether it's by the end of this TV show or making sure that I prioritize dinner for myself, and then I'll give myself an hour watching TV or something. But creating boundaries for myself, knowing how useful they are for my students in everyday life. So. I'm not surprised that your kids are like, oh, thanks, just
Yeah.
take it away from me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Good. Another question. The holidays are just around the corner. Thanksgiving's what, in a week or two, and Christmas comes really fast. So this is a busy time of year. We all know it is. It's just the American thing that maybe it's the worldwide thing that the holidays are so busy. What are some suggestions that you implement or would suggest we implement that you've used or whatever to help us manage this incredibly busy season and create more white space during the holidays?
Yeah, I think for us, we try to keep it simple, even though we have 7 kids. We do try to keep it simple with a few traditions, and then when it comes to gifts, we say 3 gifts each. And when that's done, it's done, and it doesn't need to be the amazing American Christmas, every Christmas. Sometimes we have big Christmases, and sometimes we don't, and that's okay. And we talk through it with our kids that's okay, and that's not what it's about. And just trying, it's a battle. It really is,
Yeah.
because things get thrown at us. But to just try to keep it simple.
And talking through it with them ahead of time, they always are on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, they appreciate it so much. Like
do.
you were saying with just the
Yeah.
boundaries, it's like it takes the pressure off of them. And years ago, we started letting them each draw one name so that they could still get to buy for somebody. So they get to buy one gift for somebody else in the family. But now they don't have to worry about buying 6 or 7 things financially, time-wise. We have to take them out, and
Right.
so that's just helped us to go, let's keep the stuff, the gifts, to a real minimum. And because we love that it represents, representing the gifts that were given to Jesus. And so we talk through that, but just keeping that to as much of a minimum as we can has been really helpful on time.
Good.
I love that. I think for me, although I don't have children to plan around the holiday time and things like that, but even with family events and multiple sides of grandparents or even friends, families who are just like my own. I'm a naturally organized person, and it's very important for me to schedule out what these next coming months are going to look like. That way I'm not surprised or I'm overwhelmed or I'm forgetting something that's going to be happening. But that way I know what to expect. And then also if I can say yes to one more thing, or if I already have something
Sure.
booked.
If you're already filled up. And
Yeah, tapped out.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think our time's up. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we're going to stay with the same panel, and we're going to talk about how to build Sabbath into our lives. Today was about reducing busyness. Tomorrow we'll talk about creating that white space, Sabbath time in our lives. So thanks. Come back tomorrow.